The decline of Made in China is severely impacting the world's second-largest economy. Amidst the pandemic in China, a novel social movement emerged. Known as tang or lie flat, this trend gained popularity among young professionals who were pushing back against the relentless pressures of the competitive job environment, a direct contradiction to President Xi Jinping's vision of the Chinese dream. There is a noticeable loss of their optimism regarding China's trajectory, and this skepticism is well-founded, notes George Magnus, an independent economist and the author of the book Red Flags: Why 11's China is in Jeopardy. This movement sparked concern within China's Communist Party, leading President Xi to publicly denounce it. However, in terms of economic statistics, Chinese policymakers might find solace in adopting the notion of lying flat. The nation's trade data is displaying a far more conspicuous trend, a significant nosedive. In July, China experienced its third consecutive month of declining exports, with a substantial 14.5% year-on-year drop in dollar terms. This decline marked the most significant decrease since February 2020, coinciding with the onset of the pandemic. Simultaneously, imports faced their fifth consecutive month of reduction, registering a decrease of 12.4%. The level of consumption has dipped so drastically that the economy entered a state of deflation in July, a situation not witnessed since the beginning of 2021. The Consumer Prices Index in China recorded a 0.3% year-on-year decrease, following a stagnant 0% growth in June. Despite expectations of a resurgence in spending, this revival has not materialized. Moreover, there was a sharp decline of 4.4% in factory gate prices. These export figures serve as an indicator of a broader decline in global demand, particularly evident in Western countries grappling with surging interest rates and elevated inflation. Analysts caution that these figures are likely to deteriorate further due to escalating geopolitical tensions, tariffs, the repercussions of China's zero-COVID policy, and the increasingly authoritative regime under Xi Jinping. These factors are prompting international businesses and investors to distance themselves from China, coinciding with the nation's domestic economy facing significant challenges. The issue lies in Xi Jinping's lack of comprehension of economics, states Steve Zhang, who serves as the director of the SOAS China Institute. China was previously renowned as the global manufacturing hub. However, the designation of Made in China is presently experiencing a decline. In the month of July, shipments to the United States experienced a substantial decline of 23.1%. Numerous other markets, including Taiwan, Japan, and the European Union, also recorded significant double-digit drops. An essential gauge of foreign direct investment, FDI, in China, referred to as direct investment liabilities, plummeted by a staggering 87% to $4.9 billion during the period between April and June. This marked the lowest value within any three-month interval since at least 1998, as reported by the State Administration of Foreign Exchange. In reality, the investment figures are likely to be even bleaker than reported, asserts Magnus, as official data encompasses Hong Kong's contributions. These statistics serve as a forewarning for future trade dynamics. Approximately 30% of China's exports are attributed to foreign companies operating within China, and these entities are gradually but surely initiating the process of relocating their operations to other regions. According to Zhang, there is a noticeable shift underway. Enterprises are starting to recognize that their investments within China are subject to an array of constraints that were not previously encountered over the past 2 decades. In China, foreign companies are now obliged to include a Communist Party secretary as a board member. While Communist Party representatives have historically been present within Western multinational corporations, their role used to involve advocating for the company's interests, Zhang explains. However, with Xi Jinping's intensified control over the party and his insistence that party secretaries prioritize the party's interests within these companies, the dynamics have shifted to a more authoritative enforcement function, he elaborates. Concurrently, foreign businesses have observed drastic and authoritarian shifts in the Chinese government's approach to COVID-related restrictions.
The wavering of the zero-COVID policy introduced a substantial amount of uncertainty into investments within China, Zhang remarks. Businesses are less concerned about politicians' rhetoric and more concerned about maintaining their secure supply chains, safeguarding their reputation, and ensuring the continuity of their operations. The Chinese authorities have essentially augmented the level of risk associated with investments, Zhang concludes. Around 3 to 5 years ago, Western companies regarded investments in China as a safe and assured venture. The absence of operations in China raised questions, while currently, there is a need to justify intentions to expand within the country. Numerous prominent Western corporations are actively diversifying their supply chains. Apple is strategizing to relocate some of its manufacturing operations from China, while Samsung has already shifted substantial portions of its supply chain. Siemens is exploring potential factory sites in countries like Indonesia, Vietnam, and Thailand. Magnus emphasizes, gradually, factors like trade controls, export regulations, foreign direct investment scrutiny will erode China's position as the global manufacturing hub over the next decade. The decline in investments within China will have far-reaching implications. It significantly affects China's access to technology, as foreign companies typically establish plants that are then emulated, a prevalent practice in China. This drop in foreign direct investment could also lead to a slowdown in innovation. The decline in investments within China will have far-reaching implications. It significantly affects China's access to technology, as foreign companies typically establish plants that are then emulated, a prevalent practice in China. This drop in foreign direct investment could also lead to a slowdown in innovation. Around 70% of imports from China to the U.S. now face an average tariff of 20%, a stark increase from the 3% before the initiation of the trade war, according to the Peterson Institute for International Economics. China's competitiveness as a production hub is waning due to increasing costs and an aging population stemming from the former one-child policy. This demographic shift will lead to rising wages, influencing companies to adopt China Plus One strategies by. China's competitiveness as a production hub is waning due to increasing costs and an aging population stemming from the former one-child policy. This demographic shift will lead to rising wages, influencing companies to adopt China Plus One strategies by. China's competitiveness as a production hub is waning due to increasing costs and an aging population stemming from the former one-child policy. This demographic shift will lead to rising wages, influencing companies to adopt China Plus One strategies by. China's export decline comes at a challenging juncture. Formerly, real estate and infrastructure played pivotal roles in China's economic growth, but these sectors have reached saturation and are currently experiencing prolonged downturns. As exports lose their viability as a growth strategy, China's economy faces challenges such as increased youth unemployment and a sluggish property market, both impacting consumption patterns. With a shrinking working-age population, the Xi administration is grappling to stimulate demand using traditional methods that are no longer as effective. This situation is reminiscent of the challenges faced by Japan and the Soviet Union. Importantly, the decline in imports, down 7.5% in the first 7 months of 2023 compared to the same period in 2022, serves as a critical warning sign for China's economy, indicating internal weakness. The youth unemployment surge and the stagnating property market are weighing on consumer sentiment, as real estate is a core component of Chinese households' long-term savings. The Xi administration is striving to boost demand while facing a dwindling working-age population, and conventional economic tools are proving less effective in this context.
Reporting from Sky Agency Network. This is Sky Phoenix, from the friendly people beautiful country of the Philippines.